Thank you very much for keeping it KTS. We've been discussing on devolution and resource allocation. And gentlemen, we've been discussing on the debate of whether the resource allocation to the counties should be moved from 15% to 45%. Would this have a negative impact to the economy? What's your opinion on the same?
Yeah, I think it's healthy. It is healthy to debate, because if you don't debate, you may not know how best or worse you are performing. You know, as new structures are in place, it will be good for those ones that the structures are working for them to look at it and say, yes, this is healthy, we need to move from 15 to 45, and others will look at it and say, no, because of corruption and the way other people are using this money at the county level, maybe we should wait until 2 or 3 years down the road. But the way things are happening now, things are, to me, my opinion is, maybe we need to wait for 2 more years to go to 45. But I know people will not be happy, but so long as we are not prudently using our resources, a lot of corruption, many people are in courts now because of this. And we continue giving them more money, tunajitia kitanzi. Thank you.
I think it is healthy, and one of the key issues is we tend to blame the counties that they are corrupt, but even the national government is corrupt. So, to me, the issues of the allocation or the increments and all that, to me, there should be some laid down procedure, say that we should be able to have added even a long time ago. What I'm saying is this: the more even we leave that money on top, that is in the central government, we are finding we have the issues like corruption which are coming in. Now in the counties, it's equally the same. Now we are simply saying, why do we have to leave the corruption of the figures, the 85% to the central government? They can even dissect that and remain with only 5%, and the other money goes to the pocket. So what the point is, it is not really to say that we have not set the structures in the counties. To me, we should be able to really take the money to where it belongs. If it means adding 15 to 20 or to 18%, whatever it is, so that we can now be able to say, you have been given 20%, how have you utilized? The more we have, what you should have in place is to say, what are the repercussions or what are the control measures which have been put in place to ensure that the money is utilized efficiently and effectively. Otherwise, the debate is good. It can create more ways of allocating the resources into the counties. Thank you.
Ima, I think the question you've asked is very, 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 very important. Debate about resource allocation. This is something that should go on. This is something that should be encouraged. We should not make the mistake we made previously. You remember, 1965, we had sessional paper number 10, African Socialism and its application to development in Kenya. It was debated very briefly, and then our founding father said that now there should be no more debate. This is our economic Bible. No longer had he said that than, no sooner had he said that than the old document was abandoned. It was never debated, but in the course of time it was abandoned. And then we had the district focus for rural development. Never debated sufficiently, again abandoned. The reason why this debate is healthy is one, resource allocation is politics. And politics is about who gets what, when, and how. Who gets what, when, and how. And those are 3 questions that are very, mighty. And answers to those 3 questions cannot be found at once. We need to debate. We need to say, okay, the 15% allocation may be too little. The way we have seen it work is it's been insufficient here and there, but also we may not want to increase it so dramatically because the way the resources are used at the levels of the county is not very prudent. It seems we have not placed structures that will mitigate problems such as corruption, problems such as fraudulent tendering and all. And that's why we need to continue debating it so that we see how to increase it, what to put in place, how things have worked, and so forth, and we move ahead. So I agree with my colleagues here that the debate is necessary, the debate is essential, the scope for this debate should be widened. We should hear more about, from the people who are being served, than just from the county governors and senators and all. The voice of Wanjiku is not being heard. Whether Wanjiku is actually getting the 15% that the government is giving now, or whether Wanjiku needs more. So the debate should continue.
And gentlemen, we've seen, to sum up this topic, we've seen recurrent expenditure. Gentlemen, to sum up this topic, we've seen recurrent expenditures both at the national and the county government. What does this mean to our economy?
I think to sum it up, or to just put it in perspective, recurrent expenditure does not bring in development. There is no investment, consequently there will be no much of the growth in the economy. So as far as the national county government is concerned and the county government is concerned, the more we spend on recurrent expenditure, the more we are not growing as an economy. Investment is diminishing. And to sum it up, in terms of devolution and resource allocation, I could put it like this, that as we go along, I'm sure we'll evolve the way we are actually allocating, the parameters we are using to allocate the resources to various counties. And we should be able to have more and see more of those population coming lower and poverty index being lower, and improve on the fiscal policy, which is actually the responsibility of the county to collect more income and use that money prudently. That should be a higher percentage when you're given the money, so that when you're given the money, we need to see and to know how you have utilized. So within the future, I'm sure that should be done. Thank you.
The fact that our county and national governments are spending more on recurrent expenditure means that we either working on our, on the same, making the same steps, or making one step forward and two steps backwards. Because recurrent expenditure means that we keep on spending on emoluments, we keep on spending on, infrastructure, on maintenance, and it means that we are not engaged in very serious mobilization of resources. It means we're not thinking innovatively and factoring in our new thoughts into development. So I think it would be more prudent, it would be more advisable for our county governments and our central governments to think more seriously about development expenditure rather than standing on the same spot engaging in recurrent expenditure all the time. It gives the idea, it gives the impression that there is something funny happening. It gives the impression that there is some corruption. It gives the impression that the officials, the people in the county government, the people in the central government are spending more on themselves personally than pushing the country forward.
Devolution is good because it brings a lot of power to the common mwananchi to decide on what to use money for. The national government also is good because there are issues that are handled at the national level that those issues are very important for the country at large. What I can say is that we need to run away from these recurrent expenditures, too much of it. But what do we mean by saying that? If we say we need to concentrate in development, we are saying that retrenchment must be there. The national level, the national government was supposed to retrench 40,000 people. so that it can be able to manage the budget of this country. But it seems to have been a very hot thing to do. Politically, they thought it was not, although economically it is, because it will save money that can be taken to development. The national at the county level, the problem again is those employees who work for the local government. They were just brought on board, and then the county government has also been hiring and firing. So in a nutshell, we are saying we need to run away from personal emoluments both at the national level and the county level, and direct that money to investment so that production can be of high and income will be generated to sustain these institutions.
Thank you for keeping it KTS and more so the Economy Transpointer. I've been your host, Immaculate Burunja. Until next time, see you same time, same place. God bless you.
All models in economics are talking about money. It is only how that money is used.
The way we have been paying our debt has really been increasing with figures as we go along.
And we borrow to pay, which means that we find ourselves and our country in a situation of perpetual dependency.